Hello and welcome to another video where I show you 6 different ways on how to get a chainsaw tone with just plugins and not so much money. So, little disclaimer here, I only paid for the Audio Assault Reamp Studio one. The other ones I was provided either by Audio Assault or by Audiority, or they were free at all. But each and every opinion is my own. So first of all, let me quickly walk you through the signal chain. We start with my guitar, obviously, and then we go directly in this insert slots. And I have 3 plugins engaged for the very first digital chainsaw, and it's totally free Ignite Nadir. I've chosen Jens Bogren IR, it's the greasy beard one. Then I've chosen the Emissary amp, it's from STL Tones and it's free as well. And then we have the Audiority heavy pedal that's currently deactivated, as you can see here. So let's focus on the amp. Or first of all, here's the clean sound, just the IR. Now let's activate the amp. And for a digital chainsaw, you can basically dial in every tone you want or you prefer. And I prefer a slightly driven amp. Therefore, I've engaged the heavy channel or the lead channel. Gain is really almost at 0. You can basically see the knobs here, and this is the sound. Okay, and now we just add the heavy pedal. I've added a tiny bit of gate, no mix, distortion to taste, we can bring it here. So let's activate it and let's hear it. So we can actually switch between different. I think a fifth is nice as well. Or the HM-1. And now with this basic setting that you can of course tweak, as I've showed you earlier, you can edit the amp so that the chainsaw is more to your liking. I prefer it this way, but let's play around with the toggles and knobs. And that's the first signal chain. You basically just have to buy the Audiority heavy plugin and maybe an IR if you don't like the custom ones that the Nadir comes with. For instance, the Bogren IRs. For the second signal chain, I actually only changed the HM-2 plugin. And now I've chosen the heavy mescal from Audio Assault. And this is also quite inexpensive, hasn't as lots of options as the Audiority plugin has, but maybe this already does the trick for you. However, the settings are a bit complicated to dial in, means everything on full won't work, as I can show you right now. I haven't changed the setting. Let's decrease the gain actually. And so pedal is deactivated. Let's activate it. Since the Heavy Mescal doesn't have a noise gate, you might throw in a stock plugin, a stock noise gate plugin, or you live with the noise, whatever you want. So again, fairly inexpensive, just have to buy one plugin and a bunch of free stuff, and then you're good to go to have a chainsaw. Another option to achieve a chainsaw is with the Audio Assault Reamp suit. As you can see, just a single plugin, everything here that you need. Stomp amp cap, and to get a chainsaw, first of all we need to find amp that we want. I think I'll go for the classic EVH. Let's go for this one. Before we dial it in, actually let's select a cap. So I could go for the Bogren one, but here are some impulse responses as well. I think we take this one here. No idea what it is. Okay, now let's dial in the amp. And to get the chainsaw tone, you need the HM-2. Let's activate it. No, it doesn't sound as good as did the other ones, but that's mainly because I've chosen a different cap. So for comparison purposes, let's go to the same cap, the Greasy Beard. So with just a single plugin, you can also get a chainsaw tone if you, well, I don't know if this is CPU heavy or not, but this is fairly inexpensive. Plus you get a plethora of other amps that you could also use to shape the chainsaw to your liking. And also some additional effects that I sometimes use to get a more finished sound. So that's the plus with this suit. Another suit that only requires one plugin is again from Audiority. It's the Solidus VS8100. It's based on a Marshall solid state valve state amp, and I actually have my own chainsaw preset that I use for quick demos. And let me talk you through. So I have engaged a noise gate, just a tiny bit. Then I've engaged the Doctor drive, it's an overdrive. Then we go into this boost, and here I've cranked the chainsaw frequencies, decreased the frequency there. The original HM-2 has the mid gap, at least in the ballpark, and increased the low frequency. As far as the amp goes, I go for full overdrive 2, lots of gain, reduced bass middle, treble full, contour at around, well, 5.6, okay. And then we have an outboard EQ. I've just dialed in a slight V curve. And for the cap, I actually use a cap that comes with the Audiority. So here I don't use a Bogren cap, and therefore you don't have to buy a Bogren cap, or the Bogren cap if you want to use this particular plugin. And it's this one. Well, and here is the sound that I get with this. Well, I really like it, and therefore use it all the time, because this is just convenient. It's just a single plugin, plug it into and be done with it. So as you might see now, Audiority is the king of HM-2 plugins, because it has a third plugin that can do the chainsaw. It's the Cleartone Grindstein. And well, this plugin is basically a better version of the Grindstein actual physical pedal with a couple more options. And well, we again have a gate. Here it's based on the Cleartone Schnauze with a boost. Well, let's leave it here. Then we have the Grindstein itself. We have the EQ pedal. Currently, well, that's the default setting. And then we have a cap. We have 7 different caps. So let me first select a cap. So let's stay with the blood path. So let's dial in the Grindstein. First of all, we need some grind. Not quite there yet. So let's do a bit with the EQ. We actually have a dedicated chainsaw knob. So with the Grindstein suit, you have lots of different options to get a unique tone that reminds you on the chainsaw tone, but that isn't a real chainsaw tone. It might be possible to get. However, I don't want to toy around with it this much. And I typically use the Grindstein these days for bass. That's a phenomenal job on bass. So yeah, that's the Cleartone Grindstein plugin. And the last way on how to achieve a chainsaw tone is an experiment, because I already tried to achieve a chainsaw tone digital totally for free, but I failed miserably. But maybe I've learned a trick or two, and so let's try this out. We start with the same amp and cap setting that I had the first two examples, which means a Jens Bogren Greasy Beard into Ignite Emissary. And now we build our chainsaw with three plugins, which is a Doctor Drive. It's from Audiority again, but it's basically, Horizon Devices Precision Drive. But you could basically use any other gain pedal that you want. There are a couple of different options from STL tones as well as lots more. So we use this drive pedal. So let's dial in a nice drive sound. Maybe add some gate. Okay, let's leave it there. And now I load the stock Cubase frequency plugin. You could basically load any EQ plugin that you have. Just make sure it's a parametric EQ. So we actually need 4 bands, maybe. We need, of course, the chainsaw bands, and then we need one for the mid gap, and then we need one for the low peak. Maybe a low pass, low cut and a high cut. I don't know yet. So let's start. You actually have to know your frequencies, otherwise you can't do it. We start with 1.4K. Well, actually. And we add 950. Now we need the low boost. It's at 95. Now, we could try at around the 220 Hertz, we do a light cut. Now let's finish it off with 2 cuts. Well, and that's my chainsaw for free. The Doctor Drive is free, the Frequency is free, the Emissary is free, just the Bogren IR costs money, but you could do without the Bogren IR, I guess. So those were 6 tricks on how to achieve a chainsaw tone, either with 0 money or with nearly 0 money or with a bit more money. And this were basically all the plugins that I have. I know that there are other plugins that can emulate an HM-2, for instance, with STL Tone Hub, or I think the STL Amp Hub has a chainsaw plugin as well. And well, I reviewed STL Tone Hub, but I don't have my code anymore because I got a new computer and was a bit dumb. Therefore, I couldn't include it here. But there are, of course, other ways. So, apart from that, which of the 6 ways did you prefer? Or do you know another way that you think is superior and therefore I should try out? Write it down in the comment section. Oh, and if you want to buy one of the plugins from Audiority that I showed you, check out the links in the description. Helps me and basically helps the channel. Well, and with this said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. May the force be with you and have a nice day.